Go with me to verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and how many horns? And 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. When you read this, what does it bring to mind immediately? A dragon with 10 horns. Immediately, it leads you to think about Daniel 7. Daniel 7. Now the question is, what was the dragon in Daniel 7? What did the dragon in Daniel 7 represent? It represented the 4th empire, and what was the 4th empire? Rome. Now, do you suppose the dragon here in Revelation 12 and verse 3 also represents Rome? Is it the same dragon in the sequence? No doubt about it. You say, how do we know that? Well, let's continue reading verse 4. It tells us where this dragon came from. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon, now notice this, and the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Is the dragon contemporary with the birth of the child? Of course it is. It very clearly says that the dragon stood there waiting to devour the child as soon as the child was born. Now, what was the empire that was ruling in this world when Jesus Christ was born? It was Rome. So, do we find the same power being depicted in Daniel 7 as in Revelation chapter 12? Yes. Only in Revelation 12, the Old Testament period is simply commented on by the fact that this woman is in travail waiting for the child to come, whereas in Daniel you have more detail because you have the empires of the Old Testament. You have Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece, and then eventually Rome. And so Revelation chapter 12 is discussing the same issue as Daniel chapter 7. Now, how many horns did the dragon have in Daniel 7? It had 10 horns. How many horns does this dragon have? This dragon also has what? Also has 10 horns. Now, let me share something with you very important. This dragon beast does not have the 10 horns on his head when he begins to rule. There are 3 stages to this dragon beast. The first stage is the dragon beast ruling alone. The second stage is the dragon beast divided into 10 kingdoms. And the third stage is the rule of the little horn. Now go with me to Daniel chapter 7, and we're not going to have this on the screen. Daniel chapter 7, so you're going to have to look this one up. And we're going to read verses 23 and 24. Daniel chapter 7, verses 23 and 24. I want you to see that there's 3 stages to this dragon beast. Very, very important. It says in Daniel 7:23, thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. That's the 4th beast, the dragon beast. Now notice verse 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom, do they come out of this kingdom? Does a kingdom exist before they come out? Yes. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise after the kingdom has risen to power. And then notice, and another shall rise after them, which is the little horn. How many stages does this dragon beast have? It has 3. It rules by itself. Then it rules in 10 divisions, the 10 horns, and then finally you have the little horn coming up among the 10, and of course it uproots 3. We've heard all of this before, but we need to understand the structure. So where have we gone so far? We've gone from the Old Testament period. We've gone to Rome, the dragon beast who wants to slay the child, and the dragon beast has what? 10 horns. Now, what would we expect the next stage to be? What was it in Daniel chapter 7? You have the lion, the bear, the leopard, the dragon beast. The dragon beast has 10 horns, and then it has what come up from its head? A little horn, and this little horn rules how long? Time, times, and the dividing of time. So what would you expect the next power to be in Revelation 12? It must be the same little horn, right? Go with me to Revelation chapter 12 and verse 6. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 6. See, this is a disciplined way of studying Bible prophecy. There's no guessing. because you're following the sequence, the exact order of events. You know exactly where you are in the course of history. Notice, where did I say we're going? Revelation chapter 12. That's right. Daniel is repeated in Revelation chapter 12. Let's go to verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, that's after she had the child, where she hath a place, now remember these details, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there, how long? 1,260 days. Now notice the details. There's a woman, she flees to the wilderness, there's a place prepared, she's fed by God, and she's there, according to this, 1,260 days. Now, this same concept is repeated later on in the chapter. Go with me to verse 13. It says, And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness. Is this a repetition of the same thing? It most certainly is. Into her place. See, that's repeated again. Where she is nourished, she is fed. How long? For a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. Is this following the same sequence as Daniel 7? Absolutely. You have a lion, bear, leopard, dragon beast, 10 horns, and little horn. In Revelation chapter 12, you have this woman, which represents the Old Testament period. The dragon wants to slay her child. The dragon has 10 horns, and then the dragon with 10 horns doesn't disappear, but a new power rises which persecutes the woman into the wilderness for how long? For times, and the dividing of time. The same as the little horn of Daniel 7. Are we following the same sequence in Revelation chapter 12 as in Daniel 7? Absolutely, no doubt about it. Now notice once again Revelation chapter 12 and verse 5. It says, And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood. What does water represent? Waters represent multitudes, nations, tongues, and peoples. In other words, this dragon power is sending its peoples to do what? To try and drown her. It says that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. All this is talking about the persecution that took place during the times, and dividing of time, or the 1,260 days. It's the same time period. Now, in Revelation 12, we're going to have some additional details that are not found in Daniel chapter 7. What we're going to read now is not found in Daniel 7, but it is actually added as future events in Revelation chapter 12. Now, notice verse 16. It says, And the earth helped the woman. What does that mean, the earth helped the woman? There's a place called the earth that obviously helps the church that is being persecuted during the 1260 years. Now, how does the earth help the woman? Let's finish reading the verse. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Does persecution come to an end as a result of the help of the earth? This verse says yes. By the way, the earth here has to be a different place than where those other beasts of Daniel 7 arose, because they rose from the sea, whereas this speaks about the earth. And if you look at Daniel 7, you're going to discover that the powers in Daniel 7 move from east to west. Babylon and Medo-Persia are in Asia. Greece and Rome are in Europe. You see, we're moving from east to west. So we would expect the next power on the scene, and we'll go to Revelation 13, we're going to study about this power. The next power we would expect to rise further west than Asia or Europe. So it says that the earth helped the woman and swallowed up the waters of persecution. Now the woman is not persecuted anymore. And of course, when people were persecuted over in Europe at the end of the 1260 years, where did people flee to find liberty and freedom? We all know this. They fled to the United States. And